62-inch Gaia extra crispy. Why do we call it the extra crispy? Well, that's because of the extra heat that's put into this when it's made. And it's very difficult to see under the LED lights, but there's this beautiful rainbow swirl that happens all through here that's a result of the heat oxidation when I'm making this and preparing it. I made the mistake in the last video of using the fisheye lens, and it really took away from the grandeur of a 62-inch Gong. I mean, this is massive, massive, massive piece of material. And it's just amazing. The sounds are so delicate and so low. They become more of a feeling than they are a sound. Especially in a larger room, the sound tends to dissipate a little bit. And you can see, even though this is the 815 mallet, which is very heavy, it's only a slight touch. That's all it takes. And sitting next to it, you can feel the static it creates. It kind of lights your hand right up. This is characteristic of the sound creation or earth style gongs that some of the other manufacturers make. The big difference is the burning pattern in it, the arc. And it loves to be touched ever so gently. And what happens with these is the sound is very unpredictable. And that's because there are all these different tension points in here. Everywhere you see that hammer mark, it makes the material tighter and it pulls. And where there's two or more spots, it triangulates and creates this little membrane. So the sound here is going to be different than here, if you allow it to be so. And of course, if you're playing on the dimples, it's going to sound different also. This style does not have the typical tuning ring that's characteristic of a German style gong. Which leaves the membrane much freer and allows it to move around. And as it moves around, it activates all these different subplates that are in here, all these other parts of it. So instead of one monotone sound, you get layers. And layers of sound. And again, it makes it very predictable. And you can map it to a degree and know maybe what it sounds like out here versus in this spot here. But as you increase your attack, that's going to change what happens all over the rest of it. You know, the sound moving here might be redirected out here, might be redirected out here. And the way the rest of it activates, it's completely unpredictable. These little light polyas light mallets are really nice for this. You don't hear the attack and you can barely touch it. And if you're patient, it'll bring out all those subtleties. This type of gong is really nice for a drone. lost in that depth of sound. In a better light, you'll be much more captivated by the colors and the swirl in here. That's a really, really low sound wave, probably less than 20 hertz. It almost becomes imperceptible. One of the recommendations I make with people when they're trying a gong is to get right up in it, get right in its face, listen to how it wants to be played. This is where you hear what it's doing. I know some people like to do videos and they don't want to be in them, so they're way out and back and they're striking out here. And when your face is beyond the circumference of the gong, you're getting a totally different experience. If you don't believe me, try it at home. Sit right in front of your gong and then move your head around and you'll notice it's a totally different experience. So to a degree, when you're hearing demo videos from some of the manufacturers, they're not hearing what the gong is doing. Well, they are just hitting at it. And when you get into really big stuff like this, or any gong really, you need that kind of feedback. You need to be able to hear what's going on. Does it want to be played faster or harder or slower? It becomes a dance. These are the Paul Ford Truffula rollers. He doesn't name them, I gave them the name. When my kids were little, I read Dr. Seuss. And in one of the stories, the Lorax, there were these things called truffula trees. I have two very different mallets in my hand. I have the Truffula roller, and then I have the Deep Space. And the attack on each is very, very different. The other thing you notice is I'm not doing any big exaggerated movements. I'm not putting on a theatrical show for you. I'm playing the gong. I'm listening to it. I'm taking in the feedback. And letting it dictate what's happening. If I'm busy gong dancing or gong twerking, it definitely takes away from the experience, because then you're watching me make a fool of myself instead of listening to what's coming off with the gong. that listening part is the important part of playing. These are definitely my go-to. This is the Ollie Hess L460 and then the M355. The 355 is the test weight I use for all the gongs I make in the shop. If it doesn't sound good with this, it won't sound good with anything else. I like to play very much parallel to the gong, maximizing the surface area of the mallet. That disperses the energy, and it also takes that bonk away. You don't hear the attack. If your attack is misjudged, Dan says, once I can tell you're hitting a piece of metal, I'm out. It drops me right out of it. And I'm only applying enough pressure really to compress the fleece that's on here. If I switch to the edge of the mallet, you see it makes a very different sound. It's a little sharper. You can hear the metallic nature of the instrument. Not that there's anything wrong with that. For me, when I'm playing, I don't want to hear that. Want the sound to be coming out of nowhere, because that's what I want to focus on, the sound. When you really focus on the sound, one of the neat things that happens is you can hear the interference patterns with all the ambient sounds. Like it might be cutting through a fan noise or a hiss or something, and then you begin to hear this little chatter. And sometimes you don't realize what kind of sounds you're making until it stops and you get to that silence. On the 62-inch gongs, I do include a stand with them. Makes it much easier. It actually makes it easier to ship that way also. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, or if there's something that you want to know more of, or a deeper explanation, just drop a comment below.